This video is education for the real world. So let's get started with lesson 1. Find a partner in life who can support you financially. What I mean by this isn't necessarily to marry someone with a lot of money, but you need to choose a spouse who is responsible with money. This trait is often disregarded. Rather, you're often aiming to impress the other sex with your amazing persona, lavish date plans, and high-priced meals. It's probably not going to work out financially if you can't afford anything while dating. Exhibit your true financial self to your spouse before you're married, and insist that your future spouse do the same. Neither of you should make any sudden changes to how you handle money after being married. Significant problems will arise if that happens. Arguments between partners often center on the issue of finances. Share your thoughts on financial matters. Would you consider yourself a saver? Can you tell whether she's a spender? What are your thoughts on the concept of debt? What is your opinion on home ownership? The question is, what do you have? Just how much does she make every month? Is she in debt? Please provide your respective financial backgrounds and FICO ratings. Does she plan her finances and try to stick to them? These queries have simple answers but are difficult to formulate. Of course, they're very significant. All of your financial information, both current and historical, must be made public. Not only will you find out a lot about your prospective partner, but also about yourself. Rule number 2. Make sure your spouse is financially stable. Divorce is a certain way to ruin your finances. Give it some thought. At best, you'll have to divide your financial resources in half, and that's before you consider the emotional consequences. Legal bills, administrative expenditures, overage on living expenses, alimony and child support might eat up practically the whole sum. Try to appreciate your current situation. Rarely does the other side have better conditions. Apply yourself to the first tenet of study. Make sure your future husband or wife is a frugality guru who accepts the permanence of marriage and your own financial philosophy. Maintain open and honest communication about money matters throughout your marriage. You may accomplish this by documenting and discussing your monthly spending plans, net worth, financial challenges, opportunities, and long-term financial objectives. These should not be annual events, but rather continuous dialogues held monthly or more often. To a lesser extent, this way of thinking will affect other facets of your marital life. Taking this step will pave the way for a prosperous future together as a couple and for more honesty and openness in your marriage. As a third guiding principle, know that having children and nurturing them is quite expensive. I want to start by saying that kids are the best. Since I own 5 of them, that much should be clear. While I like my children immensely, I must admit that the expense of raising kids never ceases to amaze me. I know how hard it is to say no to my kids. You want them to be happy, and in most cases, that means providing them with material goods. The most obvious outlays are what first spring to mind when thinking about the total expense of raising children. Provision of essentials like a good education, quality childcare, medical treatment, nutritious food, and warm clothes. Don't forget to include things like a bigger home, a larger automobile, greater energy expenses, entertainment, sports, and other activities they'll partake in during their formative years. Depending on your income and spending habits, the total cost of having and raising a child might range from $200,000 to $50,000. Spending that much is prohibitive for most people. Spending money on them will end up costing you more than spending money on yourself. If you plan on having kids, you should put your own needs, even financial ones, on the back burner. The long-term financial and quality of life consequences of your choice should not be underestimated. You and your future spouse should think long and hard about the financial implications of having children before you do so. It may seem callous to see children in this manner, but in reality, very few people really do. Once you've come to this realization and made the decision to have a family, all you need to do is love your children. Rule number 4, never spend more than you make. Many people in the United States have made and will continue to make critical errors in this fundamental area of personal finance management. They want everything right now. They can't bear to wait until they have the money for it. Do not make an unnecessary purchase until you have the funds available. Just getting your hands on it will make you feel better. If you keep spending money you don't have, you'll eventually have to declare bankruptcy. Maintaining a modest standard of living ensures that you will always have some spare cash for future use. Your savings will accumulate interest and growth over time, putting you in a very secure financial position. Know that reducing your standard of living does not equate to a worse quality of life. This means you need to figure out where your money is best spent and what matters most to you. Intelligent life is the key. Fifth rule of thumb: always safeguard your own property. Many of you undoubtedly disregarded this warning from your parents since you weren't paying for anything as a kid. You're finally out on your own, and that means you'll be footing the bill for the things you purchase from now on. If you take care of your possessions, you will save tens of thousands of dollars over the course of your lifetime. The benefits of caring for something you don't even own will become clear as we examine it. In your first apartment, you should expect to pay a large security deposit of at least 1 month's rent in case the unit is damaged. Therefore, it requires frequent cleaning. Move in without leaving any dings or scratches, and if anything breaks, give the landlord a call to avoid being charged for a replacement. Take extra care of your belongings when your lease is up or you make a big purchase, like a home. Do both the inside and outside of your home's painting. All appliances in the home should be used, maintained, and cleaned according to the manufacturer's directions once every 10 years. This includes washing machines, dryers, refrigerators, freezers, ranges, ovens, stoves, dishwashers, air conditioners, and bathrooms. It is wise to invest in a service plan that covers the security of all of the appliances in one's home. What about something as basic as a change of clothes? Clothing that is well cared for may last twice as long as clothing that is not. The same holds true for furniture as long as it is cared for correctly and never exposed to liquids or food. Some pieces of furniture may be used for decades. Keep in mind that the immediate expense of maintenance and repairs may add up quickly. The short-term expense of maintenance and repair is small in comparison to the long-term cost of neglect. Principle No. 6: make new connections and maintain old ones. This guidance will benefit you monetarily and psychologically. Making friends is one of the best things you can do for your mental and emotional health. It will assist you with personal finance without you even realizing it. The majority of the sound advice I've heard about my financial situation has come from people I know and trust. The guidance is not only helpful but also free. Throughout my life, I'm certain that I've assisted a number of people. As time goes on, you might begin with your older classmates and former classmates. While it may be impossible to stay in contact with everyone, you should make an effort to stay in touch with as many as you can. I didn't have the convenience of electronic mail, mobile phones, or the World Wide Web. Web-based social networking. Make use of this resource and maintain consistent communication, just as the rest of your generation has done. Never forget a birthday. Celebrating anniversaries is a kind gesture. The number of friends you make during your life will amaze you. Friends from high school and college may go on to careers in insurance sales, chief financial officer, accountant, real estate investor, realtor, consultant, or financial writer. Even those who don't go into finance as a profession will have valuable insights to share about managing their own finances. The same holds true for the coworkers you meet at the beginning of your professional life. Spend time getting to know your coworkers, from entry level to executive level. Don't only talk to people in your office. Develop new territories. Make an effort to meet some of the folks in charge of the books. Introduce yourself to the chief financial officer when you have the chance. Eventually, my chief financial officer, CFO, became not just my accountant, but also a close friend. To sum up, don't bother making any friends. The risks of hiring me as your financial advisor are far higher than the potential rewards. A true friend knows that it is acceptable to seek the counsel of others. In general, individuals like assisting one another and sharing their knowledge. It's as simple as asking questions and getting responses, which may include both views and information. Make sure, nevertheless, that your financial choices are wholly your own. Principle 7 states that throughout one's first few employment experiences, the individual receives more than they offer. This is a philosophical notion, but if used correctly, it may result in substantial long-term financial rewards. A first job is a learning experience in which you gain more from your employer than they do from you. That may be a blow to your pride, but it's the truth whether or not you want to acknowledge it. As a student, you'll get financial compensation. Most young people miss out on this chance because they are just willing to put in the least amount of effort required. Because most people think that others aren't putting in as much effort as they are, they seldom put in extra time beyond the standard 9 to 5. The problem arises at this point. Millennials often believe that they go above and beyond in their daily lives. They're being used by the firm. Conversely, the more effort you put into your entry-level work, the more you'll learn that will serve you well in subsequent positions, and you could even be promoted quickly. Take on more work yourself if you want to. Talk to your boss and her boss, and go to those free evening lectures. You'll benefit yourself more than the business if you do this. You may look at your first employment as a continuation of your undergraduate career, but with one key difference. Your employer is funding your education. You'll be light years ahead of the competition in terms of your career and your bank account if you adopt this mindset.